What's up, Jessica here with Deborah, and in today's video I would like to go over the 3-day rule for push notifications, and we're going to do it in presentation style. So let's go. Okay, cool. So I want to dive into the budget first because your testing budget and your scaling budget is going to be a little different when you compare the similarities and the differences to social PPC, 3-day rule for Facebook, and maybe even other traffic sources. So with push notifications, you can go in and save a lot of money on clicks. You can go in paying at least a penny per 1,000 impressions. You can pay a penny per 1,000 clicks. It's amazing. However, whenever you're setting up your daily budget for your campaigns, if you're going in, let's say you have a payout of $1, €1, whatever your denomination is, you need to go ahead and multiply that by 10 or 20x in order to start your daily budget. Now, there are occasions where you're going to be required to automatically set your daily budget at 20x because it's a $20 minimum. However, we do recommend going in a little higher because you will be able to allocate and distribute an even budget throughout the day in order to maintain the impressions and the volume that you need in order to get your push notifications in front of an audience to get those clicks so you can get your conversions. So again, 10 to 20 extra payout. I put a plus symbol there and it should be the minus symbol, so excuse that. All right, so your campaign budget, it needs to be triple, because you can run it for 3 days or you can run it for 4 days, right? So 3 or 4x your daily budget for your total campaign budget. We generally start with about 3 to 4 days, see how everything does, and then from there we make our decision whether or not we'd like to scale. So when we're ready to scale, we go in with a significantly higher budget. We usually go in with 20 to 40x the payout, and then we'll run it for at least 5 to 7 days just to make sure we're able to optimize and accumulate more data. By then we may have a whitelist, we may have duplicated onto another offer to test other offers. There's so many things that you can do when you're ready to scale. So those are just the numbers that you want to stick with. Now the differences from, again, Facebook social pay-per-click and the 3-day rule are, you can really have a lot of fun with push notifications, which is kind of why I wanted to put this together, because you can really go in and start optimizing at least the bare minimum, like your landing page, maybe your speed, maybe your angle and creatives, if you are able to acquire a decent amount of impressions and get a good amount of clicks, if you have some sort of data to work with. There are times where you can go in and you can get at least 10 conversions in one setting, and it gives you a lot to work with. So you can change your creatives if you have a high click-through rate or a low click-through rate. If one of those amazing conversion days happen to you, like the first time going out the gate, and I only say that because I know it's happened personally, right? So within the 3-day period, you can definitely test different icons. If you're utilizing platforms like ZeroPart, where you can rotate your icons, when you can upload up to 10 different ones, that's definitely what you want to take advantage of. Or even the smart rotator and propeller ads, where you can upload at least up to 8 different images and icons and different variations of headlines and text. So you can do a lot of split testing is kind of, I guess, what I'm getting at. You can also add blacklists or zones to a blacklist, or if you're using a different traffic source like AdMaven, where they call it publisher feeds and sub IDs, you can create blacklists during testing as well, because as you modify the ad spend and how it's distributed between all of the publishers within the database, you're going to notice that there may be some that are getting impressions or probably have high volume and have somewhat of a decent engagement, but they're not converting, right? So that may cost you a lot of your ad spend, where it takes away some potential impressions or some potential bids that you could have won on a different zone or publisher feed. So that's something to consider. And then you can also modify how much you want to pay for the clicks if you notice that you need more volume. We don't recommend it. We do recommend waiting at least till the 3-day period is over before you decide to increase your cost per click, for example. You can also get profitable on the 3rd day if you've made a significant change to your campaign. So that's why it's good to just keep things going. Don't give up on the 2nd day. Now, if it's highly likely that on the third day it will not be profitable if you have not gotten any conversions on the first and second day, just like it would be with Facebook. But the main difference is you can go in and switch up your hosting to an international server to literally increase the speeds. You can change your creatives, and you can probably get lucky and figure out how to engage better with the audience that you're targeting. You can look into your copy, because the copy is going to be what's most important, at least in my opinion, when it comes to your push notifications. So you may have gotten a genius idea. You never know, right? So there could be one significant change that could hit it out of the ballpark for you and get you into that range that you need to be in, to where you could potentially turn things around and make your campaign profitable if you can at least get it to break even. So what do you need to monitor during testing? So during the first day, you just need to monitor your ad spend, make sure everything's in good, decent order. Just keep a good eye on the clicks that are coming through. Make sure that your impressions are gradually increasing, because that means that you're winning bids on the platform, and that's a good indication that you may be able to get some conversions during day one. Now, day two is probably when you may or may not, depending on how much your budget is that you're going to go in with, you may or may not have added some feeds to a blacklist. You may have enough clicks to monitor and say, okay, this is going to cost too much. Now, if that's the case, then that's when you do want to consider the 3x payout. If you're getting a lot of clicks on the zone, and you've at least spent for the clicks that you've received, and it's cost at least 3x your payout, and you have not gotten any conversions to compensate for that spend, then you probably need to go ahead and add that zone to a blacklist, because it's costing a lot of money and you're not getting the engagement that your campaign needs, or you need to revise some things later down the road. And that goes into day two, where you need to just keep an eye on the zones that are still kind of building up towards possibly being high performing zones for you. But just keep an eye on it. You really sometimes can't do much on day two, but it can be significant, and it can be a dynamic experience for you if you're able to pick the right offer for the right geo, and if you have like this magical trifecta, which comes with more experience and more testing and identifying more patterns. So on day three, you review your total conversions, and we'll break it down in the next slide. You probably need to calculate your ad spend and your ROI at this point, just to see if it's worth scaling or killing the campaign. You may have been close to breaking even. Sometimes, we've probably been within 50 cents, maybe a dollar or two from breaking even, where we determine that it's worth at least attempting to test maybe different audiences, as far as like maybe user activity, or if we need to target specific uh, advanced targeting features like a browser version or a carrier or device type. Who knows, right? So if you're close to breaking even, then we consider it's a possibility that you can go ahead and optimize and maximize your profits. But when you're looking at everything in general when it comes to conversions, if you're familiar with the 3-day rule, everything's the same. If you're not familiar with the 3-day rule by Colin Dijs, I'll link something in the cards up above, so you can check out that video. But as far as conversions go, it's going to be 8 or less. You just need to let the campaign go. It probably is not going to ever become profitable, no matter how many landers you test, anything like that, and how many push notifications you could put together, how many images you try to test. 8 conversions or less mean that you just need to let it go. No, I know there's emotional attachment to your campaign sometimes if you put a lot of time and effort into it, but let's not take it that far, right? We want to break even and make the money, so we need at least 9 conversions. If that's the case, just let it run. Try to go ahead and optimize to get past that break even point into profitability, and then review all your data in the meantime to make sure that you're headed in the right direction. And if you analyze your data properly, you definitely can probably make some progress in your campaign. Now, if you go ahead and immediately day one you get at least 10 conversions, great, you're good to go. There is a possibility though that shit can go south day 2 or 3, so you just have to be careful. Don't gas yourself up if you get that many conversions day 1, but that is always the goal, is to get as many as you can. By minimum, you need 3 per day in order for your campaign to pass the 3-day rule. So that takes care of the slide. I just want to take you now into our testing dashboard into the 30-day window. Well, technically 30 days. So we started this campaign on the 7th. Oh no, it is actually 30 days. We actually did start this on September 7th, and today is the 7th of October when I'm recording this video. So as you can see, this campaign ended up being pretty good for us. We were able to keep it profitable by 35 euros, and we were in the ROI by 12%. So it's not bad being one of the first ones that we started, just to get a feel for this particular geo and get an idea of how the Propeller Ads platform worked. So whenever we ran it on day one, we ended up getting 6 conversions. So it immediately wound up being a profitable campaign for us. So we got excited, and we knew that if we were to optimize, then we could probably push this to the limit. So the conversions just kept rolling in pretty much, right? So because we had more of a higher spend that day, most likely is kind of why we're in the red, but not by too much. It's just we barely missed the mark on getting that extra conversion that we needed, and it was because we had issues with impressions and volume and things like that. It was very difficult to figure out how could we stay profitable without overspending and putting us in that red area, right? So we were trying to avoid doing that intentionally. And, you know, that's how we got close to breaking even. And then day 3, things turn around. We kind of got everything to balance out as we started optimizing. And as you can see, the conversions were keeping us in the green. They were carrying us over, but we didn't really attempt to make any impact on it and try to figure out how can we make any difference with the creatives and all of that stuff later down the road. So that's kind of like how we went through that journey of that campaign, where in the first 3 days we looked at the zones and said, okay, let's take a look at what's spending where. So if I go into the data a little further, we usually go into the cost and try to identify where the money is going. So this is going to be in ascending. Let me put this in descending order real quick so we can see, is this the right? Well, I'm pretty sure this is going to be where, if this is going to be the first day, we didn't have anything going on. Let me try to narrow this down a little better for you guys. So the 7th is going to be our 3 days right here. Oh, let me change that real quick. 7. Okay. So now let's try it. So as you can see, let's try to do this one more time. There we go. So this is kind of what we would look at, is say, okay, well, I probably, I think this should be it, right? Yeah. So it's say, okay, we're getting these clicks, so-and-so, we're paying this and a little bit more than our average payout, so we may not want to rock with that, right? We probably would have added that to the blacklist. It was not 3x our payout, but it was getting there. Anything, we didn't have enough volume to start adding anything to the blacklist, I guess. So that's kind of what we look at right here when I meant you want to review 3x the payout and take a look at what's going on in comparison to your conversions and how much you've made and the clicks you've gotten, whether or not you need to go ahead and optimize and let that zone go. Let me try to break this down by, I like to do it by image. So what we do, let's go here by image and just take a look at the push notifications. So if we are looking at the click-through rate, just to take a look at what's performing better, let's see. We go to the 7th, and I'll go, oh no, not in October. All right, we should be in this campaign here. So the data is a little off as far as conversions go because we were tracking the wrong, I think, we were tracking the wrong postback URL. So as far as the creatives go, so like during the first day, we'd come here and look at the click-through rate. If we're getting clicks, we were getting conversions, right? We confirmed that in volume. We kind of tried to narrow down, okay, what do we want to keep? As you can see, we kept the variables very super simple at the first time out the gate. So same description, same title. The creatives are what we were mainly testing because that's what we were trying to get a feel for, because it was an offer that we kind of just stumbled on, something like that. And we would review kind of what that breakdown was, in addition to all of the zone information, to figure out what was going on with that. And then we would take a look at these zones here just to see if there's anything that we needed to optimize further. It's still loading. So as far as that, we'd say, all right, well, this is costing us this much. Let's just imagine that this was accurate, right? We go in and be like, nah, can't walk with it. But this is all wrong because nothing was tracking correctly. All right, so that kind of breaks down how we approach the 3-day rule.
Allow me to introduce the Dijs University Forum. Whether you are trying to make your first conversion on ClickBank or scale your campaigns to 6 figures, the Dijs University Forum offers you exactly what you need, like high-quality landing page templates, detailed case studies, and exclusive discounts. The forum has no outdated information. All resources inside are from campaigns that are running right now. Do you want to learn from super affiliates? Check the link in the description and sign up today.